In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight. Sitting across from me is the one and only Cash Kraus. But before we begin, if you guys can please be sure to smash that like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day. And a few great announcements that we also have to talk about is we will soon be setting up our Patreon account. We've already kind of made the tiers, and we are going to start creating exclusive Patreon content. So go check out our website, haveyouseenitpodcast.com. You can find everything you need to know on our website.
And this is good, high-quality content as well.
Absolutely.
It's not just throwaways. It's good shit that you're going to want to see.
Yeah, you're going to want to see exclusive reviews, exclusive polls, exclusive
you're
movie
teasing
news
a lot
episodes.
there. You're teasing a lot. Yeah, absolutely. And more to come. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Absolutely.
But yeah, a lot coming for the Have You Seen It podcast.
Yes, sir.
Once we hit that 10,000, it's all up from here.
The ball's rolling now.
Absolutely. Took us a while to get that old fucking ball rolling.
It did. It took us a while, 4 years, but we are here.
But once she goes. She goes. Yeah. But, any other announcements?
No, I think that about does it.
Okay, good.
So why don't you announce what we are reviewing today?
A new Netflix horror film. A movie that I was excited for. Mason, if I recall, was not so excited for this one. Fear Street Part 1, 1994.
Okay.
Yeah, a long title, that one.
Very long
Fear
title.
Street Part 1, 1994. This is the new Netflix trilogy.
It is.
That's coming out back to back, right? Week after week after week.
3 Fridays in a row. Yep.
Wild. It is based on the book series by R.L. Stein.
Yes.
What
Writer of
other
Goosebumps.
series did he? There he did. I was going to say you up for a fucking layup, and
It's
you
funny.
nailed it, my friend.
Thank you.
Good
you.
job.
I did nail it
Great
this time.
recall.
Yes, of course.
Yes, Goosebumps.
I'm very familiar now.
Good. I'm glad.
Read the whole series.
Good.
All 75 books or whatever
I
they
think
were.
there might be hundreds,
100,
actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of books.
I have them somewhere locked in an attic somewhere.
Oh, nice.
A lot of them, yeah. Because you
go.
could always buy them for like 5 cents at garage sales.
You can, yeah.
Because there's so many of them. But based on R.L. Stein. This is based on his more adult novels.
Yes, it is. More for the teens.
And it shows you that right at the start. I was happily surprised by the violence in this.
Yeah, we'll jump into the full review because I definitely had my problems with this movie, but
Really? You didn't like this one, did you?
wow.
I think we're going to be split on this
Yeah,
one.
I think we will be. It's not that I didn't love it, or not that I didn't like it. I just didn't love it. It's just, first and foremost, okay, we'll just jump into it. First off, the editing was some of the most frustrating shit I've ever watched. That bathroom scene, someone couldn't even complete a sentence, and it was already 3 boom, 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 boom before the sentence was even done.
See, I didn't even notice that.
Oh my God! If you watch it in the bathroom, it's exclusively the bathroom scenes too. I was just like, can we just have it
that's
on
the
a character?
bathroom scene where they're cutting in between the three while they're all about to like make love, right?
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Well,
right.
And not just that, but even in the beginning when they're like, the boy shows up and he's like, hey, why are you in the bathroom? And it did like 3 cuts in between that. And I'm just like, I couldn't handle it. It was distracting to me at points. I don't know who the editor was, but just focus on a character for more than 2 seconds before you make a cut. That was one of the things I did.
Well, there
not
was
like about
multiple
this.
character and multiple main characters in this movie we have to talk about,
Yes.
and I thought all the kids did a really good job.
Yeah, they did.
Not any kids that were like, oh, there's what's his name from Stranger Things, because
Right,
it's usually
yeah.
the only kids working in Hollywood right now are kids from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they're in fucking everything. But that's what I thought. I really liked that the kids were like, they were great actors, but they weren't super recognizable. That was the first thing. And they looked like kids from 1994.
Yes.
They weren't overly sexy. That's a big thing right now.
That's
It's
something they did like the
Teen Wolf,
Twilight.
Sabrina, and like, after Twilight, teens had to be just fucking drop dead. Have you ever been to any high school? These
Not all those kids are drop dead. Yeah,
they're hideous. These kids,
Of course,
Yeah.
they're dealing with all these
Hormones,
kid problems,
their bone
yeah.
structures all
Acne
fucked
and all
up.
this
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Oh
of
my
course.
god, it's a freak show.
But you watch those shows on like MTV, those teen shows.
Yeah.
First off, those people look like they're in their mid-20s to
Not only
almost
that,
early
but they're fucking
30s.
constantly. I mean, I'm not saying kids aren't having sex, but kids aren't having big orgies.
No, of course not. No.
In the middle of a field,
And they're
it's not
they're
that-
like shredded,
Oh,
and the
eight
girls
packs.
look like they're almost
Yeah.
30, and you're like, what the? These kids are, or these actors are supposed to represent 16-year-olds.
Yeah,
this is
that's what
unrealistic.
That's what I love so much about this movie was it was like I don't know, it was the quality was I don't know if it was maybe like go see it in a theater quality, but it was like if you saw a really good like scary made for TV movie, but it was like really like the CGI looked great for this film.
Yeah, it
I mean,
did.
I was surprised how good the CGI was, but like if a TV movie was really like taken care of and had passion for it, that's what this kind of is. It had great effects, had way more gore and killing than I thought it was going to be. Because we were both kind of talking about
Yes.
that when we saw the trailer.
And I was that's something I did appreciate about the film is they were willing to take risks, and the gore was actually kind of like, especially towards the end. We'll get into that later, but I was like,
Well, at the
whoa.
start too, when she it starts off, of course,
In the mall.
because this is part 1, 1994, and you know there's only 4 locations you could shoot at in the 90s and late 80s, and one of them had to be in a fucking mall.
Of course.
That's all people. That's you didn't need to go anywhere else in the world in the early 90s. You just went to the fucking mall for everything.
Well, and that was something that they did in the beginning of this film that I actually liked, and they did this a few times. They surprised us, and that's something I did appreciate about this
I
film.
love the story.
Yeah.
I really liked the story a lot. It was kind of surprising. There was a few twists and turns there. It wasn't overcomplicated though. But I really enjoyed the fucking
And
story.
especially for a Netflix film, like there are millions or hundreds, I should say, Netflix films where you're like, oh my God, this is not good. This is definitely one I would recommend. However, I do want to talk
I
about
gotta say there
this
is
character.
one girl from
There is-
Stranger
yeah.
Things.
But what I
I should
like,
say there's always
yeah, this is what I liked about it, and I'm glad you brought her up, Maya Hawke.
daughter of Uma Thurman. Don't forget about that.
Oh,
Of course, she's gorgeous, just like her mom.
of course.
And she's in. Wasn't she in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
She probably was.
Yeah, she was. Remember,
Yeah.
she played one of the psychos. She,
Oh, the
remember,
flower
remember
child.
She's the one who wanted to leave because she didn't want to go through it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was the only kid that I like immediately recognized, and she was the one right at the very start.
Right.
And like I think you were getting into, there's a twist that the girl you recognize ends up getting murdered.
That's what I liked about it because
Yeah.
I thought for sure because I didn't know the context. I didn't know the main characters right away starting this film. But we open up and I go, okay, that's a girl from Stranger Things, lead role. She's going to get away from this guy.
Yeah.
And then she got stabbed once and I'm like, okay, she'll still get away.
Then
And then brutally murdered. And I'm like, hold on, what?
Yeah, what are you watching? Exactly.
Yeah.
You're thinking maybe this is a young adult. It's damn near a hard R.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it's way more than PG-13.
Yeah.
But when because at the very start, you know, you're not sure she's being. It looks like a very traditional slasher film.
Mm-hmm.
She's being hunted down by some guy in a skull mask or whatever. And she gets stabbed, and you're thinking, oh, maybe the cops are gonna come or whatever. And then she gets stabbed like 50 more times.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, oh, this guy's going to get away, right? Mm-hmm. He's his fucking head blown off
I get popped right in the head, man. And
by
hey,
the super cop.
yeah.
I was really fucking surprised by that.
Same. And that right away kind of set the tone for the whole film. And that's something else that they did. And another thing where it was kind of just a small twist and perfect too is the realization of who Sam was. because, she leaves a note right away, says basically, fuck you, Sam.
Right.
And you're thinking, oh, some douchebag high school guy probably broke her heart. And then come to find out, it was actually, and then that's what I like is they showed up to the Devils, whatever, the visual or whatever.
It's the Sunnyville
Sunnyvale Devils.
Sunnyville Devils and the
course.
Shady Vale Witches.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine that?
They're just demonic towns.
Super demonic, yeah.
For each of them. And the town, we got to go a little bit in the premise. Because this Shady Vale, right, is the name of the town.
Shadyville.
History of brutal fucking
Murders.
like very movie-esque murders. There's a milkman that kills people. There's a guy who killed people at a lake, very Jason-esque, of course. Yeah. And so this town is just filled with fucking murders. And then you have what was Sunnyville? Sunnyville, which is
where all the rich people are.
Nothing ever happens.
And they're all like Victorian era houses or whatever, where they're like beautiful.
And they're all real. This is where you get like your Teen Wolf-esque teens, where they're all much because they're supposed to be the bad guys, and I didn't mind that at all.
Yeah,
but
it was definitely on the nose as far as the good guys and the bad guys. I felt like, all the bad guys from Sunnyvale were all white douchebag kids that looked like the alt-right, with their hairdos.
But it wasn't cliche in the thought where I thought that main bad kid, I thought he was going to play a huge role in this fucking
Same.
film. And he didn't at all.
Again,
they killed exactly.
And it was sudden too, where you didn't even see that coming. And I was like,
that's what I really admire the writing of this. This movie could have been so easy to like, just not take serious at all as like from a filmmaker standpoint and just kind of phone it in because that's what we've seen. I mean, that's how like the Goosebumps movie was. I mean, it was like, but they just took it. Whoever the director is, he hasn't done very many things. Kyle Killen. Oh, that's just from the story.
The original story.
Yeah, the director is a female,
yeah.
is Leigh J, who's done, I don't think has done anything.
Doesn't even have a wiki page.
But took this super fucking serious for sure, and they did a good job. You kind of brushed upon it. That is a Netflix film. And it may not be your favorite film of all time, but you have to admit it's one of the best Netflix films that we've seen.
Undeniably. Yeah. Absolutely.
And I was so surprised by the soundtrack is fucking incredible.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was one of my notes.
This must have been a pretty big budget. I mean, for a Netflix horror film, because like I said earlier,
in the range of probably 50, 60.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy for a horror film.
Yeah.
Because they opened up with 9 Inch Nails. You have to, of course. But yeah, they had Garbage, Iron Maiden in there.
Yeah,
just pretty much
and some Iron Maiden T-shirts too.
Yeah, it's pretty much all the quintessential like early '90s bands.
Yes, for sure.
Sophie B. Hawkins. They had some really good ones. Cypress Hill.
Yeah, Insane in the Membrane.
Yeah, Creep.
Yeah, of course,
Essential.
Radiohead.
Yeah.
And that's when she's all sad on the bus and she puts her headphones on.
Yeah, White Zombie. They had Snoop
they
Dogg.
had Zombie too.
This was one of the best soundtracks of the year, I think, so far.
They probably dropped 10 mil just on the soundtrack.
Shocked by how good the soundtrack was. I don't know. I really want to know how they got the rights to all those songs. Because it seems to me like they got the right probably to every song they wanted in here.
Yeah. It would appear that way. I just hope in the part 2, 1978 or whatever it is.
I can't
I hope
wait
it's
for
the Doors.
that. It's gonna be.
They gotta have
it's
one
gonna be all
Doors
rock
song.
and roll.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
And that one, because the next one's 1978, then the one after that is
1666.
Yeah. Fucking metal, bro.
Hell yeah, bro.
That one, I don't know what the soundtrack's gonna be for that one. A lot of flute playing.
Yeah, I don't know. Some like old fucking,
But the next one, the 1978 one, that one's got another girl from Stranger Things playing the main character.
Wow.
Yeah,
they're really
like I said,
these
I
kids.
told you, man. I told you every fucking one. But yeah, we talked about it briefly, but I didn't mind. Usually I can't stand the teen drama worked into these fucking films. But this film, what it does, it's very different from it's not your straight up slasher film. It goes to it's a little bit of a witch story combined with this. There's a reason behind these slashers that
kill every 13 years.
Yeah, and there's this thing that possesses kids, and that's the reason why they're having these fucking disasters it's this goddamn witch, It's always witches.
It's always witches.
We got to talk about that scene. So their friend dies. Uma Thurman dies at the very start. They go to a memorial, at like, for some reason they have it at the football field. It's a combined memorial.
Yeah, with Shadyville
Why?
and Sunnyvale, and you're like, why? These kids don't obviously give a shit about this person. They literally
They're texting, or not texting. It's the 90s. They're playing Snake on their phones.
they're playing Snake. They're groping their girlfriend.
Whatever you can
so
do in the
that
90s,
was
yeah.
hilarious because I was like, Jesus, that was aggressive. The guy who's like double handed.
There's some funny
butt.
part.
I'm like,
The part where
okay.
she's going in because she's sad, she doesn't have like she's alone, which is going and fucking everyone just making everyone's
Yep.
just I mean, it's 90s, and that's even how high school is. Kids are having damn near sex on their lockers.
Yeah.
It's full penetration.
Oh, dude, I remember when we were in high school, you'd walk down the halls.
It was
and
always
people were like,
and it was the
like,
nerds.
Oh, relax.
It was always the
It was,
yeah,
dude.
like
They were freaky. Those nerds.
just gotta watch out.
I know. God.
STDs go around that fucking school like you wouldn't believe.
That would be very unfortunate.
yeah,
Especially
trying to
at
get
such
him
a
to lean
young age.
off my locker. Yeah.
You have so much to live for. Like,
But yeah, so that was a funny part. But they go to this like combined like wake memorial for this girl, and they get into like this big brawl, right? And it was as far as brawls go, I thought they did a good job of it. That's easy to do where it looks super cheesy. But so that big brawl happens. They're all fucking pissed that that this happened and that they weren't taking the memorial, and they leave on a bus, right? Yeah. And so they go on the fucking bus, and these kids, these two like the sexy teens, and then her ex, Sam, they get in a car and they're like chasing them down.
they are.
For miles down. And I just want to know, this fucking bus driver.
I swear to God, that's literally verbatim what I said when I was watching. I'm like, this guy's just trying to do his job.
I know if you ever rode a school bus, those bus drivers have blinders on.
Yes.
There is, I know multiple people who got pregnant in the back of a school bus because there's just nothing. I mean, there
are no limits, no bounds. Dude,
If
their
you're in
job.
the back 3 seats, you can have a griddle out. You can be cooking burgers. You can have a full fucking family barbecue. No one's gonna disturb you. But this fucking bus driver, even when the emergency doors
Didn't stop the bus.
I gotta go home.
Yep.
I gotta get these kids back.
Bro, I hate my
Isn't
job.
there a light goes off or something at those doors?
No, not with this guy. It's one of those things where it's like, hey, look, you paid me to drive this bus.
Yeah, and
that's
that's
all I'm doing.
all.
I'm not a fucking babysitter.
Exactly.
Don't look at me for nothing. I already hate my job. I'm
But
going
it
from
was
point A to point B.
I was just like, wow, this fucking guy is like, it's you get away with it in the 90s. Yeah. I mean, they cause a full on fucking
Car accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it only makes sense. And the bus driver, even when this car barrels into the fucking woods, someone
driving.
still has to go up to the bus driver and be like, look,
There's a
shit's
car
going
accident.
on
Stop.
back.
He's like, what?
I'm sure there's kids in the first 3 rows that be like, what's going on? You got to stop this shit at one point, because they're throwing shit out of the back of the bus.
They are.
They're opening up the emergency door. They're causing full-on car wrecks. And this bus driver is just has one priority. It's to get these kids home.
Well, I mean, you got to appreciate the practice.
He probably knows what town he's living in. He's like, this is fucking Shadyville.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys, we are in the darkest. There's witches everywhere, bro. And they just happen to wreck, of course. You
Of
ride
course,
into
right
witch's.
into a witch's grave,
Which
which is never
causes-
good. And that was something that I thought right away, because her nose starts bleeding, and I go, don't touch your nose with blood and then touch bones.
I like that effect a lot of when the nose starts bleeding and then she sees all the visions
Yeah.
or whatever. It goes really like she's seeing like the 16. I'm guessing
1666.
Yeah. Let's be honest. We kind of know where this is going.
Of course.
But yeah, I liked all those effects where it turned like there was this red tint over the camera or something, and she zooms in, she sees it all or whatever. I like that a lot. But
That's
so the
one-
nosebleed was a big thing.
It's an interesting way they're telling this story, because you would figure you would start out with 1666, then go to 79, and then 94 to kind of tell the story of how this curse has evolved.
Well, yeah, you can kind of, because they didn't go too much into the witch. You could kind of tell that there was going to be more going on, because they didn't full on, I feel like, go. I mean, obviously, you have 2 more films, so I feel like there has to be some underlining. But yeah, I get what you're saying, that you think you would then. But I don't know. I think it's kind of cool, because at this point, I do want to see how bad this fucking witch was, right?
Right.
We figured out, I mean, she cut her hand off to save herself from some she had poison hands.
That's wild. That's called dedication.
Yeah.
To being a witch.
So I am interested. I'm interested to go, and I'm hoping that it just the further back it goes, it gets darker and darker. Because if we know anything about 1666, worst era to live in, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything good about it?
No, that in the
It's so
14th century with the Black Death. I've been listening to the last podcast on the left and their
So
series
good,
on
isn't
it.
Well, that goes hundreds of
Oh
years.
my
Yeah.
god! But dude, the Black Death sounded miserable, and it's
That's
miserable.
what it
to
was.
live in
That's
that
all I
time.
think about in 1666 is these Protestant, everything's so stiff. You can't have any fucking, it's just the witch.
It's like the witch. Yep, exactly.
It's
That's
just
literally what I
so-
think about
yeah.
every time.
You're getting kicked out of your town because you're too fucking religious. It's just so, you're bathing once every 8 years.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking horrible. So I hope they really play
Rat
that up.
infested everywhere, just disgustingness.
Well, I mean, your uncle gets a cold and he's dead.
he's dead. He's gone.
Yeah, when there's
Within
nothing we
a
can
day
do.
or
There's
two.
nothing we can do. We just have to send him out to the woods and hope.
Let's just bloodletting. Let's
Take
see.
half his fucking blood.
It'll work. It works every time. Or we'll just worry about astrology, to figure out what
the
fucking
stars, let the-
organ is fucked up on your body, which is wild.
Yeah, throw him.
Science.
Put leeches on him.
Yeah.
Cover him in fucking leeches. Science, yeah, that was. I don't know if that was much science as much was just.
That was their
witchcraft.
science back then, though.
Well, quote unquote, they weren't calling that science. They were calling it I don't know, apothecary or some shit. But yeah, I hope they just get darker and darker. So far, I heard the next one's even better than this one. It has a higher. This one has a good Rotten Tomatoes score. I think it's at 78%.
70 something. Yeah.
I think the next one's at 88%.
Wow.
Yeah, so if it goes by that, maybe then the 1666 will be
Yeah,
90.
90s. Wow.
The
that'd be
greatest film of all
crazy.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the greatest film of the year.
Well, we started this trilogy. We might as well finish it off.
Oh, I'm more than happy. I was pleasantly surprised. You just you hear Arlstein, you kind of think he's known for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Although those are very scary books for kids.
Yeah.
They delved into some fucking scary elements, but for sure we were thinking this was going to be more childish. But no, some great. I loved all the villains. I loved the guy
With the axe.
Love the guy with the axe.
The girl that sings while she's
And the one
slits her
guy
wrists.
kept saying she's hot, but
Yeah, she's fucking crazy. This bitch is crazy.
I like that guy a lot.
Yeah, he was fun.
He was the comic relief a bit,
Yeah.
but he was fucking funny, and he gets fucking brutally murdered at one point, which
Yeah.
I thought was nice
Which,
too.
and again, those murders were very shocking and unexpected because that was something where I was also, I did like this movie. I don't want you to think I don't, but that was something I also enjoyed about this was those deaths I did not see coming. The bread thing, the bread slicer, I was like, oh, for sure she's getting away.
Yeah.
And then he just fucking rammed her through, and I was like,
Well,
oh,
the comic
shit.
relief kid, you thought, oh, this kid's gonna die immediately.
Yeah.
That's how it always goes. So I like that twist that he was like the last 10 minutes he fucking died.
Yes.
He almost made it out.
and the most unexpected too, because they were like give each other, him and the Josh Jr. or whatever that actor's name is, they give each other a look like, hey, it's all good, and then
Yeah, I love that. It was brutal. But I thought that was I was pretty impressed by all of it. But yeah, I liked the kid, there was like this fat kid, he was like what was he, a hacker or whatever, and like he could
Yes.
hack in the vending
Josh
machines,
Johnson.
and it was
Yeah,
kind
In the film.
of made sense why he was chubby,
right. Hey, if
getting
you get a full access to that,
That kid
you got to take advantage.
we gotta check that kid out for early onset diabetes.
Type 1, type 2.
If
One
he's
of 'em.
getting full fucking candy, if he's getting everything in the vending machine every single time.
They're so sad too because he got a girlfriend and then she got sliced.
I know, and he was,
Sad.
and she was like an older gal too.
Yeah, hey man, he was pulling in the.
I thought
the
I liked that
tubes.
scene when for some reason they're all right about to have, I don't know why, but they're all right about to have sex.
Yes. Yeah.
And but they're on pairs except for the funny
guy.
kid, and he's just jerking off in the bathroom. He's like, well, "You guys all got laid."
You guys all-
It's like, we all got laid.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Wait, what is it? What do you mean?"
Wait, what? Oh,
Oh, you
come
fucking
on,
jerk!
fucker!
Don't touch me. Are you kidding?
Don't touch me. Did you wash your hands?
Yeah, I thought there was some comedy in this that I enjoyed as well. But yeah, is there any other scenes that you really enjoyed or disliked?
I think for the story, I did like the villains. I like the characters. But I don't know. There was something missing for me. I just feel like I didn't have enough context to who. And in like looking forward to the next two films, I know we're gonna get more answers. I just didn't get enough answers from who the witch was. It just kept being flashbacks.
Yeah,
I thought we were
but
gonna
I
have
think
more
that
of a
was
conclusive ending.
I think that was
to the
because
film
of it's a trilogy. I think I don't think you'll get that
until we get
conclusive story until you get the third one. Yeah, there's this element at the end where they have to kill this girl because she's the one marked, and I kind of liked that whole element of they were only going after one kid, remember?
Right.
And so they didn't want to kill anyone else but this girl. And at one point they're going to send this girl out and
just die. Which is wild. It would have saved 2 lives, in all fairness.
It was cool, man.
It's like
but it's
the trolley thing.
Again, it's not what you expect out of this kind of teen horror. You don't expect them to, all kind of be like, we got to sacrifice this fucking girl. We got to send her out.
But I mean,
And
hey.
they end up having to kill her at the end. She ends up killing herself. And it's hilarious because the kid, they're like drug dealers. So he knows like the perfect amount. He's like, you got to take this, you got to take this. And then at the end,
wait 5 minutes between these two.
Then they just end up fucking drowning her.
Anyway, yeah. The whole
That was the only
thing
part I thought was kind of stupid was like, they drowned her and they're like, stick her with the EpiPen. I'm like, I don't know if EpiPens are saving when your lungs are full of water.
That's what I got to talk about. They shot her with 8 EpiPens. It was like,
look, they're not for they don't stop drownings.
I don't know how she didn't die from all those injections.
Overdose
Her
of
heart
EpiPen.
didn't fucking explode.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one part I was like, I don't. Someone drowns, you just stick them with an EpiPen? I don't know.
60% of the time, it works every time.
You pump someone with enough of anything, they'll do something.
They'll wake up in one capacity or another.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited to see where they go with this next one. We got to do the next one now.
Oh, for sure.
I kind of wish these came out in October.
I know. It's very strange that you would drop them in July. But then again, kids are home from school. Probably a lot more likely that kids would watch this. So
I mean, you're not going to let your young kids watch this. There's no. This is brutal than most.
Yeah, it would definitely be scary for kids, but teenagers could handle this.
I'd say this is scarier than scary stories to tell in the dark.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And you wouldn't show that to a lot of kids either unless you accidentally. I mean, that one you're more likely to show to kids because there's not nearly as much people getting
That one's pretty
stabbed.
freaky at times, though, for a kid's horror
I think it's scary. But that's a great... I love these kind of films because they're great introductory. If you did kind of want to start a kid out into their horror journey...
Ease them into it.
Start them out with this.
Right, yeah. I would just ease them into, like, I don't know.
Exorcist.
Yeah, Exorcist, kind of
Shining.
Holocaust, something like that, you know.
This
Just
is a real
fucking
fucking... This is a documentary, not a
You
film.
want to watch Saw? The first one?
You ever seen Hostel before?
Yeah,
You want to go to
Hostel,
Europe
great
after?
film, yeah.
Yeah, you got. I get what you're saying. You throw them in the deep end.
You have to.
Sink
and then
or
you work
swim.
your way back after they've already been traumatized.
Exactly. Let the therapist weed that out.
of
Okay,
course. That's
their
not my
job.
responsibility. I'm a
creating
parent.
jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a therapist also. I'm not a
Can't do it all.
multitasker. Yeah.
You can watch the movies. You can go to therapy. It's your fucking choice. But yeah, I would recommend it. It's on Netflix, so
It is. Yep.
This is one you don't even have to rent.
Well, and that's the thing too. For the problems I did have with this, like this is one of the better Netflix films I've seen. Period over the years.
Which is so wild. You would, out of all the films, you would not
expect
expect
this.
R.L. Stein's Fear Street.
And this did exceed my expectations because I'll be honest with you. You guys can go back watch our trailer reaction. I was like, okay, this is going to be a teen bop horror film. This is not going to be something I like at all. And I did find myself enjoying it. I really had a problem with the editing at times. It was just too choppy for me. But I mean, outside of that, it was a pretty good story. I just wish we would have got more. And they kind of left the end of the film open-ended a little bit where you thought she was fine because she died, but then she's not. And then they tie her up with the phone cord.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I did kind of enjoy that. I think it just shows you that like they're still fucked.
Right.
Like it's not gonna be gone. So now we gotta go back. We gotta go back and figure this out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
two, your friends have already been dead. You're kind of all in at this point. You got to figure it out.
and now you got one of them trapped in there like a fucking
Zombie.
dog. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying.
Well,
I
she's
was
like a
just put the
Deadeye
poor-
from Evil Dead. That's what they are.
Yeah.
They're like possessed or whatever. And they're fucking angry as hell, too.
Super angry.
I don't like
right.
it. All right.
Well, overall, Cash, would you recommend this?
I would recommend it. It's on Netflix. So, yeah, you can go watch it for free.
Alrighty. Well, you can't beat free. All right, well, that is our review for Fear Street 1994. If you guys like what you part 1, 1994, if you guys like what you're seeing here, please be sure, I know, to smash that like button, comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day, and go be sure to check out haveyouseenitpodcast.com. You can find all our information there to our Patreon and our merch store and all that good stuff. So thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause, and until next time.
Bye.